Good evening. If you're listening to this story tonight, let it carry you softly into the arms of sleep, wrapping you in a cocoon of gentle dreams where the worries of the day simply dissolve. Tonight, you are invited to journey with me into a tale where reality bends just enough to whisper the extraordinary into your mind, a story that will guide your heartbeat into a calm rhythm, a story that will linger in your mind like the final note of a lullaby. Hold on to this thought as we step into a quiet town in the heart of the United States, a place that seems ordinary under the streetlights but hides secrets that only reveal themselves when the world grows still. The town is called Maple Hollow. Nestled between stretches of thick forests and rolling hills, Maple Hollow had always been a place where neighbors knew each other by name, and the evening air smelled faintly of pine and freshly baked bread. But beneath its serene surface, there existed a peculiar energy, a kind of quiet hum that some residents felt only in the darkest hours of the night. Few spoke of it aloud, and fewer dared to explore it. Tonight, that energy would begin to stir. At the edge of the town, tucked behind a row of ancient oaks, stood a house unlike the others. Its windows, though clean, seemed to hold shadows that moved on their own, and its paint, a faded shade of blue, peeled in patterns that appeared almost deliberate. The house had been abandoned for decades, or so the townsfolk believed. Children dared each other to step inside during the daylight, but none ever stayed long. And yet, as darkness settled, a faint glow sometimes flickered from the upstairs windows, as if someone or something was awake inside. Our story begins on such a night, when the wind whispered through the trees like a restless spirit, and the moon hung low, spilling silver across the streets. A young woman named Clara Thornton approached the house with a lantern in her hand, her breath visible in the crisp air. Clara was new to Maple Hollow, having moved from a bustling city where lights never dimmed and the night was never truly quiet. She had come seeking solace, a break from her fast-paced life, but nothing could have prepared her for the pull she felt toward that mysterious blue house. Clara had heard the rumors from neighbors at the local diner, the ones who sipped coffee slowly and lowered their voices when speaking of the house. Some said it was haunted, others insisted it was cursed, but a small, insistent part of her believed the stories were only partially true. She believed the house held something else, a secret waiting to be discovered. That curiosity, sharp and persistent, led her to the overgrown path behind the oaks, lantern held steady in her trembling hand. As she drew closer, the glow in the upper window intensified, pulsating gently, almost as if it were breathing. Clara stopped at the foot of the porch, feeling a shiver run down her spine. Every instinct told her to turn back, yet every ounce of courage, or perhaps stubbornness, kept her rooted to the spot. The door before her was heavy, its wood carved with patterns she couldn't quite identify in the dim light. She pressed her palm against it, feeling the chill seep through her gloves, and took a deep breath. The door creaked open at her touch, though no one could have been inside to unlock it. The lantern illuminated a grand hallway lined with portraits of people whose eyes seemed to follow her every move. Clara's heart raced, but she stepped forward, the boards groaning beneath her feet. Each step seemed louder than the last, echoing through the vast emptiness. She called out softly, "Hello? Is anyone here?" Her voice seemed swallowed by the shadows, leaving only the sound of her own breathing and the faint hum she had sensed earlier, now stronger, almost melodic. She wandered through the house, discovering rooms frozen in time, furniture draped with yellowed sheets, a grand piano coated in dust, and shelves lined with books whose pages whispered secrets in the quiet. And then, at the top of the stairs, she found it, a door unlike the others, shimmering faintly with a silver light that seemed to pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat. Her fingers brushed the handle, and in that instant a wave of warmth spread through her chest, a sense of recognition so profound that she felt tears prick her eyes. It was as if the house had been waiting for her all along. With a steadying breath, she turned the handle. Beyond the door lay a room bathed in a light that seemed alive, not harsh or glaring, but soft and comforting, as if the air itself were infused with the warmth of 1,000 sunsets. In the center of the room stood a mirror, framed in twisted silver vines, reflecting not just her image, but memories she had never lived, moments that could have been, and glimpses of futures that might still come. Clara stepped closer, mesmerized, and as she did, the mirror shimmered, and a voice, gentle, calm, and impossibly familiar, spoke from within. "Welcome, Clara. We've been waiting for you." She gasped, instinctively reaching out, and the mirror rippled at her touch. The air around her seemed to hum in approval, vibrating with possibilities she could neither name nor resist. In that moment, the ordinary world of Maple Hollow, the quiet streets, the rustling trees, and the distant hum of the diner faded, leaving only the room, the mirror, and the promise of something extraordinary. Clara felt a thrill of fear and excitement, a cocktail of emotion that left her grounded and weightless. And so began the night that would change everything. A night where reality and dreams intertwined, where the ordinary laws of time and space bent to accommodate a story that had been waiting, patiently, for someone who dared to believe. Clara's journey through that house, through the layers of past, present, and future, was just beginning. And as she took a tentative step into the mirror's reflection, the world outside grew silent, as if holding its breath, knowing that the night's magic had only just begun. By now, if you're lying in bed listening to Clara's first steps into the unknown, you might feel your own heartbeat slowing, your thoughts softening, your body sinking deeper into comfort. Let the story's rhythm guide you, just as the house guided Clara, and feel the calm embrace of night settle over your mind. This is only the beginning, and as the hours stretch, you will follow her through wonder, mystery, and revelation, each moment carrying you gently toward the serene horizon of sleep. As the night deepened, Clara stepped fully through the mirror's shimmer, and the world she entered was unlike anything she had ever known. The air was thick with a warm glow, and a gentle wind scented faintly of wildflowers and rain-soaked earth brushed against her cheeks. She found herself standing on a cobblestone path that stretched endlessly in both directions, lined with trees whose branches seemed to sway without a sound, their leaves shimmering as though each one held a tiny star. Every step she took echoed softly, not as a sound in the air, but as a vibration within her chest, aligning her heartbeat with the rhythm of this otherworldly place. Before her, a figure emerged from the golden mist, tall, with hair like spun silver and eyes that reflected the moonlight in a way that made them seem infinite. The figure smiled warmly. "Clara," they said, their voice carrying a calm certainty that made her shoulders relax instantly. "You've arrived just as we hoped." Clara's pulse quickened. Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. She wanted to run, to step back into the familiar world she had left moments ago, yet some invisible tether held her in place. "I am Leora," the figure replied, stepping closer, "and you, Clara, are here because this world needs someone like you. You see, not everything in your reality is as fixed as it seems. There are threads connecting what is, what could be, and what should never be forgotten. You have the ability to walk among these threads, to see what others cannot, and to understand what the heart alone can feel." Clara swallowed, trying to steady herself. The words were breathtaking and terrifying. I don't understand. I'm just me. I'm not special." Leora shook her head gently, silver hair catching the soft light. "Every person is more than they appear. Sometimes it takes stepping into a place like this to recognize it. And that is why you are here, Clara. There are others, and you will meet them soon, but your journey begins alone with the first choice, to embrace what you can feel and see, or to turn back and forget everything the moment you return."
The choice felt monumental. The familiar pull of reality, the safety of her small apartment in Maple Hollow, the quiet streets she had walked only hours ago, all called to her. Yet a fire inside her ignited by curiosity and a strange recognition that somehow this was her path. She nodded slowly. "I want to see. I want to understand." "Good," Leora said, their smile widening. "Then the first thread awaits." They stepped to the side, revealing a small arching bridge made of crystal. Beneath it, a river flowed with water that glimmered in countless colors, moving like liquid light. Cross carefully. The river shows not just where you will go, but who you will meet. Your choices here echo in ways you cannot yet imagine. Clara approached the bridge, heart pounding with anticipation and awe. Every step onto the crystalline surface sent tiny ripples across the luminous water below. The river shimmered and twisted, forming shapes that looked like people, places, and moments she did not recognize, yet somehow felt familiar, like fragments of a dream half remembered. She leaned over the edge and saw images of children laughing, mountains glowing with sunset, and doors opening into rooms filled with warmth and light. Halfway across the bridge, the images shifted. She saw herself in countless possible futures, some where she remained in Maple Hollow, living quietly, always wondering what lay beyond, others where she traveled far, touching lives, experiencing moments of immense joy and heartbreak, and some that were dark, filled with sorrow and mistakes she had yet to make. The river whispered with every ripple, "Every choice matters, every step matters, and yet courage will always light the way." At the far end of the bridge, a second figure awaited. This one was smaller, almost childlike, with eyes wide and bright like morning dew. Their expression was one of innocent curiosity, and they extended a hand toward Clara. "I'm Finn," the child said, voice soft but confident. "I've been waiting for someone to come. We have to go together. There's much to see, and time does not pass here the way you think." Clara hesitated only a moment before taking Finn's hand. The touch was warm and grounding, and the strange world around them seemed to hum in approval. Side by side, they moved along a path lined with glowing flowers whose petals pulsed with life, as if breathing. Each step seemed to heighten Clara's senses. She could feel the faint vibration of magic in the air, hear whispers in the wind that carried secrets she had never known, and sense the gentle heartbeat of the world itself. As they walked, Finn spoke. "This place is alive. It's not just a world, it's memory, hope, and fear made visible, and sometimes it chooses who gets to see it fully. You have been chosen, Clara, because your heart can bear it." "Chosen?" Clara repeated, glancing at the child. "But why me?" Finn's gaze was steady, almost knowing. "Because you never truly stopped dreaming. You never let yourself forget the magic. And when someone like you appears, the threads of this world strengthen, and the paths that were once hidden become visible." The pair continued, moving through landscapes that shifted seamlessly, forests that glowed with golden light, meadows dotted with iridescent blooms, and cities that floated like islands above clouds of silver mist. With each step, Clara's fear melted into awe. Every detail felt alive, as if the world itself was watching, learning, and welcoming her presence. Then, as they rounded a bend, a low melodic sound drifted through the air, a song without words, woven from emotion and memory. Clara's chest tightened with recognition. It was a lullaby she had never heard, but felt deeply, resonating with her own heartbeat. "What is that?" she whispered. "That," Finn said, "is the voice of the world. It sings to those who are awake enough to hear, those who are ready to understand. And soon you will understand more than just the song. You will feel the stories it carries." The night deepened further, yet Clara did not feel fatigue. Instead, a calm determination settled over her, a sense that she was exactly where she was meant to be. Her footsteps aligned with Finn's, with the rhythm of the humming world, and for the first time in her life, she felt truly present. Not in a city of noise and deadlines, not in a home full of memories she could not quite embrace, but here, in a place that seemed as eternal as the night sky. And as the stars above twinkled, seemingly in sync with the luminous river below, Clara understood something vital. This journey was not just about seeing wonders or discovering secrets. It was about awakening to courage, to possibility, and to the quiet truths of her own heart. So as you lie listening now, feeling your own breath slow and your thoughts soften, let Clara's courage become your own. Let her journey guide you gently into your own calm. And remember, the night is not just a time for sleep. It is a time for awakening in the quiet corners of your mind, where wonder resides, where dreams take shape, and where the heart learns to rest in serenity.
Clara and Finn, they continued along the winding path, the luminous landscape stretching endlessly in every direction. The air felt alive with possibility, carrying scents that stirred forgotten memories, a mix of rain on warm asphalt, fresh pine after a storm, and the faint sweetness of wild berries. Every footstep echoed softly, but never alone. The world seemed to hum in harmony with them, responding to their presence as if acknowledging their significance. Clara's heart, though still tinged with nervousness, had settled into a steady rhythm, guided by Finn's steady hand and the gentle pulse of the glowing land. After what felt like hours, yet no time at all, the path opened into a clearing unlike any she had seen. Towering trees curved inward at their tops, forming a natural cathedral, their leaves aglow with a soft golden light. In the center of the clearing was a circle of stones, each carved with intricate symbols that pulsed faintly in cadence with the river they had crossed. At the very center lay a small pedestal, and on it rested an orb that seemed to contain a swirling galaxy, spinning slowly, light bending around its edges like liquid silver. "This is the heart of threads," Finn whispered, releasing Clara's hand only to point at the orb. "It holds the stories of those who came before and the potential of those who will come after. It chooses who may touch it and who must only observe." Clara approached cautiously, mesmerized. The orb seemed alive, pulling her gaze deeper, whispering to her thoughts. As she reached out, she felt an unmistakable vibration in her fingertips, a resonance that seemed to echo her own heartbeat. The world around her pulsed in response, and the symbols on the stones shimmered, illuminating paths she had never noticed before, branching out in every direction. "Do you feel it?" Finn asked, eyes wide. "Every story, every choice, every moment of love, regret, courage, and fear, it's all in there, and now you are a part of it." Clara's hand hovered over the orb, trembling. "But what do I do?" "You listen first," said Finn simply. "Then you act. The orb will guide you, but only if your heart is open." She inhaled deeply, focusing on the gentle hum that emanated from the heart of threads. As her palm finally brushed the surface, visions unfolded. Snapshots of lives, past and possible, overlapping and intertwining. She saw a small girl standing in a sunlit room, drawing shapes she did not recognize, but somehow understood. She saw an old man sitting alone by a quiet lake, the weight of a lifetime of regrets heavy in his shoulders. She saw herself, countless versions of her, walking paths she had never taken, making choices both trivial and monumental. And then she felt it, not just the stories themselves, but the emotions that shaped them. The fear, the hope, the longing, the resilience.
It was overwhelming, yet strangely comforting, as if the world were revealing its secrets in the safest possible way. Tears pricked at her eyes as she realized the enormity of what she was witnessing. Every life mattered, every choice rippled outward, and she had a role to play in this vast tapestry. A sudden shift rippled through the clearing, and the light dimmed slightly. From the shadows of the glowing trees emerged figures, 4 of them, each carrying an aura of strength and mystery. The first was tall and broad, with eyes like molten gold and a presence that radiated authority. The second was slender, with hair like midnight silk and a gaze that seemed to pierce through time itself. The third had a warmth to their smile that immediately made Clara feel safe. And the fourth shimmered faintly, as if not fully present in this reality, yet undeniably powerful. "You are here," the golden-eyed figure said, voice deep and commanding. "We have been waiting for the one who could awaken the heart of threads." "Awaken? Me?" "Yes," said the slender figure, stepping closer. "The heart responds to courage, empathy, and the willingness to see beyond what is visible. You have all 3, though you do not yet understand the depth of your gift." Finn squeezed her hand gently. "They are the keepers," he whispered, "guardians of the threads, of all the stories, ensuring balance is maintained." The warmth-filled figure nodded. "We have observed you, Clara. We have felt your heart. You are ready to take the next step, but it will not be simple. The threads are fragile, and there are forces that wish to disrupt the harmony. You must learn to navigate not just the paths of light, but the shadows that weave between them." The shimmering figure stepped forward, voice like a gentle wind through the trees. "Fear not, you will not be alone. Finn and I, and even the others, will guide you, but you must also trust yourself, for courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it." Clara's mind raced with questions, yet beneath the swirl of thoughts was a quiet determination, a sense of purpose she had never felt before. She nodded slowly. "I'll do it. I'll learn." The keepers exchanged glances, subtle but meaningful, and then the golden-eyed one gestured toward the orb. "Place your hand fully upon it now. Let it show you the first path you must walk. Do not worry about the end, only the step before you. Each thread you follow will teach you, guide you, and test you in ways you cannot yet imagine." Taking a deep breath, Clara pressed both hands to the swirling galaxy within the orb. Light spread through her body, warm and radiant, and suddenly she was no longer in the clearing, but standing at the edge of a vast forest bathed in twilight. The trees towered impossibly high, their leaves shimmering like liquid silver, and a soft mist hovered above the moss-covered ground. Somewhere in the distance, a low hum called to her, familiar, yet entirely new. Finn's hand found hers. "This is your first trial," he said gently. "The forest will test your perception, your patience, and your courage. Every step matters. Stay focused and remember that you are not alone." Clara took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the world beneath her feet. With Finn beside her and the keeper's guidance in her heart, she stepped forward, the mist swirling around her ankles, and felt an exhilarating mixture of fear and anticipation. The forest seemed alive, watching, waiting, ready to reveal truths and challenge illusions. And as she walked deeper, the hum of the heart of threads echoed softly in her mind, a lullaby of purpose and potential, guiding her gently, as if whispering, "Every step is part of the story. Every choice leads to the calm within the night. Trust the journey." In this way, Clara began to understand that the night was not a barrier, but a bridge to understanding herself, the world, and the magic that lay just beyond ordinary perception. And as you listen now, let her courage and curiosity seep into your own heart. Feel the calm pulse of her journey wrap around you, easing the tension from your mind and body, preparing you for rest as the story unfolds softly, rhythmically, guiding you closer to peaceful sleep.
Hey guys, tonight we begin with the forest. It stretched endlessly before Clara, each tree taller than any she had seen in the waking world, their silver leaves shimmering in a light that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The mist clung to the ground like a living thing, curling around her ankles and whispering against her skin. Every sound, the distant rustle of leaves, the soft drip of dew, the faint hum she had come to recognize as the heartbeat of this place, stirred something deep inside her, a mixture of awe and trepidation that made her chest tighten. Finn squeezed her hand gently. "The forest responds to emotions," he said softly. "Fear, hope, doubt, courage, it can sense them all. Stay calm and it will guide you. Lose focus and it may trap you in illusions of your own making." Clara nodded, taking a deep breath. Her palms felt clammy, but a quiet determination settled over her. She had come this far. Turning back was no longer an option. With each step, the mist parted just enough to reveal the path, though shadows shifted at the edges, hinting at dangers she could not yet see. As they moved deeper, Clara noticed faint lights flickering between the trees, small glowing figures that darted like fireflies, yet moved with deliberate purpose. They did not flee from her, nor did they approach aggressively. Instead, they seemed to watch, assessing her presence, as though the forest itself had eyes. One particularly bright figure hovered close, its light warm and reassuring. "Do not be afraid," a voice whispered, delicate and melodic. Clara turned to see a tiny figure, almost ethereal, with wings like gossamer and eyes that shone like amber. "I'm Ilara," the figure said. "I am a guardian of the forest. My role is to show travelers what is hidden and protect the balance of this place. You, Clara, are walking paths not meant for ordinary eyes. That makes your presence both precious and dangerous." Clara swallowed, feeling a shiver run down her spine. "Precious and dangerous?" she echoed. I don't understand." Ilara's wings fluttered, casting small dancing lights across the mist. "The threads of this world are delicate. One misstep can ripple across countless stories, altering futures that have not yet been written. That is why the Keepers brought you here, to learn, to navigate, and to grow." Finn nodded beside her. "She's right," he said. "The forest will test us in ways we cannot predict, but we have to keep moving. Every step teaches us. Every choice matters." They continued along the misty path, and soon the forest began to shift. The trees grew closer together, their branches twisting into intricate patterns that formed natural archways. The light dimmed slightly, and shadows deepened, creating shapes that seemed almost alive. Clara felt her pulse quicken. Every instinct told her to hesitate, but she pressed on, guided by Finn's hand and the quiet reassurance of Ilara's presence. Suddenly, the path split into three, each route appearing equally inviting and perilous. The first path was lined with luminescent flowers, their petals glowing softly and releasing a sweet, intoxicating scent. The second was dark, with thick fog obscuring the way and the faintest whispers brushing against Clara's ears, as if the forest itself were speaking in riddles. The third path was narrow and rocky, winding sharply upward toward a distant peak where a light flickered faintly like a beacon. Ilara hovered closer to Clara. "The first path tempts the heart with beauty and comfort, but it may lead to complacency. The second tests the mind, confronting fears and doubts. The third challenges the spirit, demanding courage and resilience. You must choose, and choose wisely." Clara's heart raced. Every path held risk and promise. She looked at Finn, who gave a reassuring nod. "Your choice will shape more than just this journey," he said softly.
Trust your instincts, Clara." Taking a deep breath, she stepped towards the third path, the narrow, rocky trail leading upward. The mist swirled more densely as they ascended, and the air grew cooler. Each step required focus and balance, but the pull of the distant lights spurred her forward. Finn and Ilara moved alongside her, their presence a steadying anchor against the uncertainty of the climb. As they neared the peak, the forest opened to a wide plateau, and Clara gasped at the sight before her. A vast expanse stretched out beneath a starlit sky, dotted with rivers of silver light and floating islands suspended in mid-air. At the center of the plateau stood an ancient tree, its trunk impossibly wide and its branches reaching beyond sight. Its bark glimmered faintly, etched with symbols that pulsed like living veins. "That tree," Ilara whispered, wings trembling slightly, "is the sentinel of memories. It holds the echoes of every choice made in this world, every thread ever woven. To proceed, you must confront a memory of your own, one that you have hidden, avoided, or forgotten. Only then will the path forward reveal itself." Clara's breath caught. She had not anticipated this. The memory she had buried, that moment of regret that lingered quietly in the corners of her mind, surfaced unbidden. It was a night from years ago when she had walked away from someone she loved, out of fear, out of uncertainty, leaving words unsaid and a heart heavy with unspoken apologies. The vision pressed in on her, sharp and vivid, and for a moment she felt the weight of it threaten to overwhelm her. Finn placed a hand on her shoulder. "You are not alone," he said firmly. "Face it, feel it. The memory is part of you, but it does not define you. Acknowledge it and let it guide you rather than hold you back." Clara closed her eyes, drawing in a deep breath, and allowed herself to feel the full impact of the memory, the sorrow, the regret, the longing. And then, slowly, she whispered the words she had never spoken before, words that carried both apology and acceptance. "I am sorry, and I will carry you in my heart, but I must move forward." A hush fell over the plateau. The tree shimmered more brightly, its symbols pulsing in response to her words. A branch extended towards her, glowing softly, and a path formed beneath her feet, leading to the heart of the tree. Clara realized with a mixture of awe and relief that she had passed the first true trial of the forest, acknowledgement of her own heart, and the courage to face the past without being trapped by it. Finn smiled, and Ilara hovered close, her light warming Clara's skin. "You have begun well," Ilara said softly, "but the forest holds much more lessons. Each one will test you, shape you, and bring you closer to understanding the threads you are meant to walk. Rest if you need, but do not lose sight of the path ahead." Clara exhaled, feeling a calm settle over her for the first time since stepping into this otherworldly place. The memory had been painful, but in facing it, she felt a strange lightness, as if a weight she had carried for years had been lifted. She realized that the forest did not seek to harm her. It sought to teach her, to guide her towards clarity, courage, and understanding. And as she and Finn prepared to step forward along the path illuminated by the ancient tree, the world seemed to hum in quiet approval. The mist swirled softly, the light pulsed gently, and the heartbeat of the forest resonated with her own. In that resonance, Clara felt an undeniable truth, that even in the midst of uncertainty and fear, one could find strength, guidance, and peace. So, as you listen now, let Clara's journey guide you. Feel the tension of the day fall away, the mind's worries loosen their grip, and the heart open to the gentle rhythm of calm. Allow this story to carry you deeper into stillness, into the quiet corners where dreams form, and let the night enfold you as Clara steps forward towards discovery, courage, and serenity.
The path from the ancient tree stretched forward, winding through a forest that seemed to grow even taller, more alive with every step Clara and Finn took. The mist had lifted slightly, replaced by a soft glow emanating from the ground itself, guiding their way with a gentle luminescence. Yet beneath this comforting light, there was an underlying tension, a sense that the forest, while beautiful, was aware of every thought, every hesitation, and every fear that they carried. As they walked, a figure appeared ahead, silhouetted against the glow of the forest floor. At first, Clara thought it was another guardian like Alara, but as they drew closer, she realized the figure radiated something entirely different, a quiet, steady power that seemed older than the forest itself. The figure's eyes were deep pools of emerald green, and a cloak of shifting shadows wrapped around their form, moving as if it had a life of its own. "You have come far," the figure said, voice resonating with calm authority. "I am Kalen, keeper of paths. Some who walk these forests never see me, yet all who are meant to pass must confront their presence eventually." Clara's pulse quickened. "Confront your presence?" she repeated. Finn's hand tightened gently around hers, anchoring her to the moment. Kalen nodded. "This forest will test every part of you, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. You have faced a memory and acknowledged it. Now you must confront uncertainty itself. Here, nothing is as they seem, and every choice can ripple through countless threads. Only those who can trust themselves can navigate the challenges ahead." Clara swallowed hard. How do I trust myself when I don't even understand what's real anymore?" Kalen's eyes softened, though their gaze remained unwavering. "Real is not always tangible. Real is felt, known, and chosen. You have felt the threads, Clara. You have felt the heartbeat of this world. Trust that feeling. It is your guide." As they spoke, the ground beneath them shifted subtly, and suddenly the forest opened into a vast arena-like space. Trees grew in spirals around them, forming natural walls that towered impossibly high. The air vibrated with energy, and Clara felt the pull of something unseen, powerful, and alive. Shapes began to emerge from the shadows, forms that seemed human at first, yet distorted, flickering between presence and absence. These were illusions, Kalen explained, born of the forest's testing of courage and perception. Clara's heart raced, but she drew in a deep breath, recalling the warmth of Finn's hand and Ilara's guiding light. "I can do this," she whispered to herself, and the words felt like a small shield against the unknown. The illusions advanced, shifting and morphing into scenes from Clara's own past, moments of doubt, regret, and fear she had tried to forget. She saw herself failing, turning away, losing someone she loved. Each vision pressed against her chest, a weight of emotion almost too heavy to bear. Yet, with every step, she repeated the same mantra: "I face it, I acknowledge it, I move forward." Finn stayed close, his presence a grounding force, while Ilara's shadowy cloak seemed to guide the illusions, directing them not to harm, but to teach. Clara realized, slowly, that the forest was not an enemy, it was a mirror, reflecting not only fears, but also strength, resilience, and courage. After what felt like hours of walking through these shifting illusions, the forest began to transform once again. The distorted shapes dissolved into streams of silver light, weaving through the trees and converging on a central point. There, a pool of water lay, perfectly still and reflecting the starlit sky above. Kalen gestured towards it. "This pool shows possibilities. Some are paths you can take, some are warnings. Look carefully, for understanding comes only to those willing to see clearly." Clara approached cautiously. As she gazed into the water, images formed, countless versions of herself, each taking a different path. She saw triumph and failure, joy and sorrow, love and loss. Each path was safe, others perilous, yet all intertwined in a delicate dance of cause and effect. The realization struck her profoundly. Every choice mattered, every action rippled outward, and she had the power to shape not only her journey, but the threads of this world itself. Finn's hand found hers again. "It's overwhelming," he said softly, "but you don't have to see it all at once. Just take the next step.
trust yourself." Clara nodded, letting the weight of the images settle gently rather than crush her. She focused on the path that felt true, the one that pulsed softly in the pool with a calm, steady light. And as she did, the water shimmered and parted, revealing a bridge of silver light stretching into the unknown. Kalen's voice followed her, calm and steady. "The threads are infinite, but clarity comes to those who act with courage and purpose. Step onto the bridge, Clara, and the next chapter of your journey will unfold." Taking a deep breath, Clara stepped forward. The bridge responded to her presence, glowing brighter under her feet, and she felt a surge of confidence and determination. Finn stayed by her side, while Ilara hovered above, her wings casting gentle light that guided them through the darkness. As they crossed, Clara sensed the forest's heartbeat synchronizing with her own, a rhythm that calmed every fear, eased every doubt, and filled her with a serene awareness of the power within her. She realized that the journey was not just about facing external challenges, but understanding herself, her strengths, her fears, her capacity to choose, and her ability to shape the paths before her. And as the stars above twinkled gently, she knew that she was ready for whatever lay ahead. And as you listen to Clara's journey now, feel the same calmness envelop you. Let the tension of the day melt away, the mind's worries drift into the distance, and the heart open to the quiet rhythm of the night. Allow the story to carry you deeper into stillness, where dreams form, and let the gentle pulse of this magical world guide you towards serene sleep, just as it guides Clara through the forest of discovery and courage.
Hey guys, tonight we begin with a chill, modern intro that sets the bedtime vibe and welcomes you to relax. As the hills stretched before Clara like a sea of silver and gold, the soft twilight painting every curve and rise in ethereal light. Finn walked beside her, steady and unshakable, while Ilara hovered slightly above, her wings scattering gentle motes of light that danced across the ground. Clara felt the serenity she had never known, yet beneath it lurked a pulse of anticipation, the sense that something significant waited just beyond the horizon, something that would challenge her in ways she could not yet predict. As they descended into a shallow valley, the air grew warmer, thick with the scent of flowers that seemed to glow from within. Tiny creatures, luminous and delicate, darted among the petals, their eyes reflecting curiosity and intelligence. Clara watched in awe, feeling a strange connection to this vibrant life that seemed both alien and familiar. "It's beautiful," she whispered, almost afraid to disturb the quiet magic of the valley. Finn smiled. "The world has many layers, Clara. Some are meant to comfort, some to test. This valley is both. It shows what can be, but also reminds us that wonder comes with responsibility." No sooner had he spoken than the ground trembled softly beneath their feet. The glowing creatures scattered, and from the shadows of the valley's trees emerged figures cloaked in dark, swirling mist. Their presence was heavy, oppressive, and yet purposeful. Clara instinctively stepped closer to Finn, heart pounding. "These are the Watchers," Ilara said, her voice steady but carrying an edge of caution. "They appear when a traveler's courage and resolve are being measured. They test perception, judgment, and the strength of heart. Do not fear them, but do not underestimate them either." The Watchers moved silently, their forms shifting and flickering like shadows caught between light and dark. As they encircled Clara and Finn, the air thickened with tension, vibrating with a low, humming energy that seemed to reach into her very bones. One of the Watchers stepped forward, its form solidifying into a humanoid shape, though its eyes glowed a faint red, and its voice was like a whispering wind across a cold cliff. "You walk threads you cannot yet comprehend," the Watcher said. "You claim courage, yet the forest has not tested your limits. Show us the strength within you, or be lost among the illusions."
Clara's throat tightened. Fear surged, but beneath it a flicker of determination grew. She had faced memories, illusions, and the uncertainty of paths unseen. She could not turn back now. She inhaled deeply, letting the calm rhythm of her heartbeat guide her, and spoke firmly. I am not afraid of the forest, of its trials, or of what I must learn. I am here to see, to understand, and to act. I will not falter. The watchers paused, their forms flickering rapidly, as if assessing the truth in her words. Then the leader extended a hand, and a pathway of shimmering light appeared across the valley, hovering above the ground. Then follow the path, it said. But know this, every step will confront you with choices that echo beyond yourself. Be vigilant, for what you perceive may not be all there is. Clara stepped forward onto the luminous bridge, feeling it solid beneath her feet, yet aware of the ethereal nature of its light. Finn followed closely, and Ilara's wings scattered protective sparks along the way. The valley below stretched endlessly, filled with rivers of flowing light and floating islands of flora, their colors shifting like living rainbows. The watchers receded to the edges, observing, never leaving the space entirely, a reminder that vigilance must accompany courage. Halfway across the bridge, the landscape shifted again. The rivers below now flowed backward, defying gravity, and the floating islands twisted and reshaped themselves, forming challenges that seemed to test both balance and perception. Clara realized that this was more than a simple path. It was a trial designed to push every part of her being. Suddenly, one of the floating islands tilted dangerously, and a gust of wind threatened to unbalance her. Instinctively, she grabbed Finn's hand, and together they steadied themselves. Ilara's light flared, casting a protective glow that stabilized the bridge. Clara felt a rush of gratitude, a recognition that though courage was essential, connection and trust were equally vital. As they continued, the bridge led them to a massive archway, carved from the living rock of the mountains themselves. Symbols glowed along its surface, shifting in patterns that seemed to tell stories older than time. Beyond the archway lay a landscape bathed in deep violet twilight, dotted with luminous pools and whispering streams. "This is the Vale of Reflection," Kalen's voice echoed, though he was not visible. "Here you will confront not just trials, but the essence of your own spirit. Every emotion, every doubt, every hope you carry will take form. You must face them honestly, without retreat." Clara took a steadying breath and stepped through the archway. Immediately the world around her shimmered, and figures began to emerge from the twilight, shapes that resembled people from her past, friends, strangers, even versions of herself. Some smiled, others scowled, and some simply watched with unreadable expressions. It was disorienting, yet she felt no threat. Instead, a strange pull toward understanding, as if the veil demanded acknowledgement of her inner truth. One figure stepped forward, a young version of herself, eyes wide and curious, full of questions and wonder, yet tinged with fear and doubt. Clara knelt slightly, bringing her face level with the younger self. "I see you," she whispered. "I understand the fear you carried, the choices you avoided. I am here now, and I will move forward." The younger version nodded faintly, fading into the light of the veil, leaving Clara with a profound sense of acceptance. Each step she took forward formed ripples through the pools, and the reflections shifted, showing visions not of regret, but of possibility. Clara realized that every trial, every encounter in this world was not punishment, but guidance, an invitation to recognize her own strength, her own wisdom, and the depth of her heart. Finn squeezed her hand once more. "You are ready to continue," he said. "The veil reveals what is true, but it also shows where your courage must carry you next." Clara exhaled, feeling a calm determination settle over her. The trials of the forest, the watchers, and the veil had not broken her. They had awakened her. Every fear faced, every memory acknowledged, and every choice made strengthened her resolve. She understood now that the journey ahead would continue to challenge her, yet with each step she grew more capable, more aware, and more at peace with herself. And as you listen now, feel the same serenity envelop you. Let the tension of the day drift away, the mind soften, and the heart align with the gentle rhythm of Clara's journey. Allow this story to guide you deeper into stillness, carrying you toward dreams where courage, understanding, and calm intertwine, leading you into a night of tranquil, restorative sleep.
Hey guys, tonight we begin with a beautiful and peaceful chapter. So let's relax, chill out for a little bit, and find some centering and calmness. The veil of reflection gradually gave way to a vast expanse of rolling fields bathed in an otherworldly silver-blue light. Clara and Finn stepped forward, the ground beneath them soft and almost luminescent, as if the earth itself were breathing in rhythm with their own hearts. The air was fragrant with the scent of night-blooming flowers, each inhalation filling Clara with a calm she had never known. Yet, despite the beauty, she sensed an underlying tension, the awareness that the ultimate trials still lay ahead, waiting to test every lesson she had learned. Finn glanced at her, his expression steady but serious. "This is the threshold," he said softly. "The keepers have guided you to this point. The forest and the veil have shaped your courage, and now the final challenge awaits. Beyond that ridge lies the convergence, where threads of past, present, and future intersect. It is where you will face the culmination of all you have encountered." Clara swallowed, feeling both awe and apprehension. The convergence? Will it hurt? It will not harm unless fear guides you. It will challenge, reveal, and test. But it is also a place of clarity, where understanding blooms and courage is truly measured. Remember everything you have learned: trust, courage, acceptance, and the rhythm of your own heart. They walked in silence for a while, the silver-blue fields stretching endlessly. Occasionally, Clara glimpsed strange, flickering shapes at the edges of her vision, illusions perhaps, or echoes of choices not yet made. She remembered Kaelin's words, Ilara's guidance, and the pulse of the heart of threads. She took a deep breath, letting these anchors steady her, and felt the calm within her grow stronger. As they approached the ridge that marked the beginning of the convergence, the landscape shifted dramatically. The fields melted into a vast valley where light and shadow intertwined. Rivers of silver fire coursed through floating islands, and the sky above twisted with colors both alien and familiar. At the center, a massive structure rose, a cathedral of light and shadow, seemingly grown from the threads themselves, pulsing with a rhythm that resonated deep in Clara's chest. "This," whispered Finn, "is where everything meets. Every choice, every path, every heart that has walked the threads is reflected here. This is where you will understand the full weight of the journey and the power within you to shape it." Clara's breath caught. The cathedral seemed alive, the threads of light and shadow flowing like rivers, forming shapes and symbols she almost recognized, yet could not fully grasp. It was mesmerizing, terrifying, and beautiful all at once. The keepers' voices echoed faintly, not in words, but in an energy that stirred something deep in Clara's being. "You are ready. Trust yourself." Stepping forward, Clara felt the threads respond to her presence, weaving around her feet like ribbons of light. The illusions and visions she had encountered in the forest and the vale coalesced here, forming a panorama of possibilities, moments of joy, loss, love, fear, triumph, and despair. She realized that every choice she had made, every trial she had faced, had prepared her for this moment. A sudden movement drew her attention. From the center of the cathedral emerged a figure cloaked entirely in shadow, yet the silhouette radiated immense power. Its eyes, two glowing embers, focused on Clara with an intensity that made her knees tremble. "I am the Weaver," the figure intoned, voice deep and resonant. "I maintain the balance of threads. Every traveler who reaches this place must face their ultimate truth, the understanding that every action reverberates, every choice matters, and every heart holds both light and shadow. Will you accept this knowledge and the responsibility it carries?" Clara's chest tightened. The enormity of the moment pressed on her, yet beneath it a clarity emerged. She had faced fear, illusions, and memories. She had confronted herself and embraced courage. She nodded slowly. I accept. I understand." The Weaver extended a hand, and the threads of the cathedral responded, wrapping around Clara and lifting her slightly above the ground. She felt herself connected to every thread she had seen, every heartbeat, every choice, every life she had encountered. The energy surged through her, not overwhelming, but invigorating, a profound sense of unity and understanding filling every fiber of her being. Finn's hand found hers, steady and grounding. Ilara hovered above, wings scattering gentle sparks of light that merged with the threads. The Weaver spoke again. "You are no longer merely a traveler, Clara. You are a guardian in training, a heart capable of perceiving, shaping, and nurturing the threads of possibility. Your journey has transformed you, and now the paths you walk will carry the wisdom you have earned." The cathedral shimmered, and suddenly Clara was no longer floating above threads, but standing firmly on solid ground. The shadowy Weaver receded, leaving only the light and the threads that pulsed gently around the structure. Clara felt a profound calm, a sense of completion mingled with anticipation. She realized that this world, this journey, and even the challenges that awaited her were not meant to frighten or break her. They were meant to awaken her, to teach her, and to guide her towards understanding, courage, and serenity. And as you listen now, feel the same serenity enveloping you. Let the tension of the day melt away, the worries and anxieties drift into the distance, and the heart align with the gentle rhythm of Clara's journey. Allow the story to guide you deeper into stillness, where dreams form freely, and where the night carries you into a peaceful, restorative sleep, just as it has carried Clara through wonder, courage, and understanding. Clara and the most enigmatic forest in the universe. The Cathedral of Threads shimmered softly as Clara and Finn stepped out onto the open plateau beyond the convergence. The night sky above stretched infinitely, a tapestry of stars, nebulae, and rivers of light that seemed to pulse in harmony with the threads beneath their feet. The air was warm, carrying the fragrance of countless flowers and the gentle hum of life itself. Clara felt her heart calm, her breath steady, and a sense of profound completion settling over her. "Ilara," Clara whispered, glancing at the tiny guardian hovering nearby. Did we really reach the end?" Ilara's wings fluttered softly, scattering motes of light that merged seamlessly with the threads around them. "The journey never truly ends," Ilara said. "The threads are infinite. But what you have achieved here is extraordinary. You have faced fear, embraced courage, understood regret, and discovered the strength of your own heart. That is the heart of the journey. Finn smiled, his hand still holding hers. You've done more than most could imagine, Clara. Every step you took, every choice you made, brought clarity and understanding to the threads, and in doing so, you have shaped the world, even beyond this one. Clara exhaled, a smile tugging at her lips. I feel lighter. It's like everything I feared or doubted, it's all part of something bigger, and I can finally breathe. Kaylin's voice, resonant and calm, echoed from the distance. You have walked the threads with wisdom and courage. You have faced your own shadows and embraced the light. Remember this, Clara. The world, the threads, the choices, they are mirrors of the heart. Continue forward with awareness, and the paths you walk will carry peace, understanding, and hope. As Clara gazed at the endless expanse, she saw the reflections of all she had encountered: friends, guardians, visions of herself, the forest, the veil, the watchers, and even the weaver, all intertwining into a luminous pattern that resonated with the rhythm of her own heartbeat. She realized that every trial had not only tested her, but taught her, guiding her to this moment of clarity and serenity. Finn squeezed her hand gently. Shall we return to your world when you are ready? Clara nodded, feeling the warmth of their journey linger within her. Yes, I'm ready, and I understand now. Every choice, every fear, every hope, it's all part of something greater, and I can carry that forward. Ilara's wings glimmered softly, casting a comforting glow over the plateau. Step through when you are ready. Remember that the threads you've touched will always remain with you, guiding, comforting, and reminding you of your courage. Clara took a deep, grounding breath, letting the rhythm of the threads merge with her own heartbeat. She stepped forward, and the light around her shimmered, folding her gently into a soft, radiant embrace. In an instant, she felt herself return to her own room, her apartment in Maple Hollow, the familiar world around her quiet and still. Yet, she was not the same. The journey had changed her in ways invisible but profound. She felt a deep calm, a steady presence in her heart, and an understanding that the night held both rest and renewal. She lay back on her bed, the moonlight spilling gently across her face. The pulse of the threads, the guidance of the keepers, Finn's hand and Ilara's light echoed softly in her mind, like a lullaby made of courage and wonder. She closed her eyes, letting the warmth of the journey carry her into deep, restorative sleep, where dreams intertwined with lessons learned, and the heart rested fully, unburdened and serene. And now, as you listen to Clara's story, let yourself follow the same path. Feel your mind soften, your worries drift away, and your heart settle into the gentle rhythm of calm. The threads of your own day, your thoughts and your emotions can rest, knowing that courage, understanding, and serenity have been awakened. Let the night enfold you in its quiet embrace, carrying you gently into peaceful sleep, where dreams are kind and the heart feels safe, light, and whole.